Amigos de Level Up, estamos aquí con Jack, nada más y nada menos que el director de producción creativa de 2K. Jack, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
That's cool. So we played the game and I really like it. In fact, I love it. It's great. The graphics are over the top. What can you tell us about the game? Why should the people play Mafia 2?
Well, there's nothing else out there like Mafia II. The combination of the driving and the shooting and the cars and the story and the characters you experience today, we feel there's no other game out there that compares.
I noticed the music and the furniture. And what can you tell us about the ambientation of the game?
Well, it starts off in the 1940s and then it ends up in the mid-1950s. So we studied both periods. We studied World War II era America and then 1950s America, like the golden age of America, birth of rock and roll, and the cars, and they call it the birth of cool, the rebellious youth culture in the 50s. But the cars were very different. The music was completely different between these two time periods. The fashions that the women wore were different. Advertising was different. So we really tried to make each year feel different than the previous one.
Yeah, because I noticed in the first part of the demo, you're in 1940 and you don't even have TV or rock music. Yeah. And I noticed it was snowing and all the music was Christmassy and stuff like that. I really like that. I also noticed the cars, they handle very real like. I mean, you're driving a Buick and it's not
like
easy. Yeah. Why do you think people are going to like that?
Well, every car handles differently. We have 50 cars in the game, and some are really big and they handle like big boats, and others are smaller sports cars. So in the 40s, you tend to have more of the bigger cars. They're not sports cars. You couldn't buy a new car in America in 1940s because the metal was being used for World War II. So then when you get to the 50s, the cars, all of a sudden, you still have your big, slower cars, but then you have small, fast cars, sports cars that are built for speed.
Right. You also told us that you guys developed this engine. What's so cool about it? Because, I mean, it looks great.
Well, I mean, a lot of games look great, and Mafia II is one of them, but not every game can take place in a gigantic open city like this huge city, where everything always looks good, and there's no loading screens. And then you go inside, and all of a sudden you're shooting, and then you go outside and you're driving, and there's no load times or anything, and everything looks amazing.
It really does. I mean, you're in a building, you look outside, and you can see the city and stuff happening, people living their lives. Yeah. It's really, really great. So, thank you. So, Mafia 2 is, well, a mafia game. Yeah. So, what can I expect? I mean, I'm a Mario Puzo fan. I like the movies, I like the books. What about the narrative in the game? What can you tell us about that?
Well, this game is a little bit different than certain, mob stories where you're the Don, you're in charge of the empire. Here, you're nobody. You start off and you're not in the mafia. And you need to make some money, so you end up working for the mafia, but you're good at it. So you eventually rise up through the ranks, but you're the guy on the streets. You're the guy who has to take care of business, with usually a gun, his fists, cars, fun, driving, shooting, combat. So you're not the Don. You don't aspire to be the guy in the suit, giving orders. You're the guy on the streets actually living the life.
So just to finish up, what would you like to tell the people that's going to watch this? Why should they play Mafia 2?
Well, the graphics, the driving, the shooting, the music, take all of that together in a gigantic, living, breathing city, and there's no other game out there like it.
Bueno, amigos, ahí lo tienen. Esto fue Mafia 2. Llega ya en 2-3 semanas, el 24 de agosto. Y pues los invito a que lo prueben.